I use herbs and botanicals in 3 specific ways. The first way is making sure the digestion and the digestive fire, or the Agni, is strong and clear, because we have to be able to digest our food well in order to receive the nutrients and clear out any waste or toxins. So the first thing I would do is make sure a person's digestive fire, or their Agni, is balanced. And so for instance, I might use ginger, suggest ginger as one of those herbs that can help to enkindle digestive fire. And then secondly, the second way I would use botanicals would be for detoxification. So detoxifying the channels, clearing out the channels. And the main herb that I use for that is triphala, which is really an amazing blend of 3 super antioxidant and cleansing fruits. So triphala. So that cleanses the GI tract and the liver. And then thirdly, the third way that I use herbs is as nourishment and rejuvenation. And the word in Ayurvedic for that is rasayana, so rejuvenative herbs. And 2 rejuvenative herbs that I use most commonly are ashwagandha, and that has a real strengthening effect on the nervous system, and also shatavari, which has a similar effect of strengthening the nervous system and balancing pitta in the mind. Meditation is one of the ways to help people with depression. And what that can do is, again, help people to get to know their own minds. So this idea of returning to your breath, or returning to a point of focus again and again, and noticing the busyness of our minds, noticing the different thoughts that we have, either always thinking about the past or always thinking about the future. And meditation helps us return again and again to a direct experience of the present, and we can cultivate that more. And the possibility is that if we cultivate more of a sense of being in the present, or having a direct experience of how things are right now, then we naturally feel our sense of harmony with ourselves and harmony with the world around us. So we feel this sense of the consciousness of who we are, sort of the big picture of who we are.
In yogic terms, or in yoga, there's no separation between physical, mental, psychological, emotional, and spiritual. There's different layers that you can connect to in practice, and that really is left up to the practitioner in a way. Some people come for the physical, but they'll still benefit psychologically and emotionally. Some people come because they know they're emotionally in need of finding balance, and what will happen for them on the mat is that the tension that may build up from holding emotions, which many people do, like if you feel anger, you feel sadness, even if you feel joy, some people will kind of try to contain it. And if you come onto your mat on a regular basis, yoga really won't let you do that. Meaning the movement and the twists and the holding of poses starts to squeeze the muscle, literally squeeze the muscle, and any kind of tension, which could be emotional, because we hold emotional tension actually in our muscle tissue and in our nervous system. So if you start to move and you start to squeeze and you start to rearrange the furniture, so to say, physically and through the nervous system, you'll start to feel those emotions surface. And it's not unusual in a class. You might start laughing, you might start crying. And so that gets rinsed out of your body, so that when you leave, you can actually be present and feel connected to what's happening in the moment, as opposed to holding on to those places or repressing the emotion. Inversions are specific for alleviating symptoms of depression. Anytime you bring your head lower than your heart, you're going to give your nervous system a rest, meaning it will be able to come into a place of lesser or very little reactivity. And sometimes in depressive states, even though it may not seem like that on the outside, there can be a kind of reactivity in the nervous system that's being literally depressed. And so once you begin to soothe the nervous system by staying in the inversion for a certain amount of time, it starts to decrease that internal reactivity of the nervous system so that the nervous system can actually relax. And once the nervous system relaxes, then the person who's living inside that nervous system can begin to relax and actually begin to enjoy life, as opposed to kind of pressing issues down, because their nervous system is healthy, so anything that comes in, they're able to actually work with directly. Just pretty amazing that just doing certain kinds of movement can give way to fulfilling certain or healing certain imbalances in the body. But it has to be consistent. Like there has to be kind of a consistency to it. So inversions, turning upside down, or taking the head below the heart and then bringing it back up again, which we do consistently in vinyasa, and the consistency of practice. Ujjayi is a breath, it's a vigorous, actually it's translated to victorious breath, Ujjayi, and it's channeled in and out through the nose, through the nostrils, specifically so that you can get the oxygen through the nasal passageway through into the lungs, where it's going to do the best and most work. And when people do this and they begin to relate breath to movement, they notice that they actually feel invigorated physically, but not just physically, mentally and psychologically. So there's some healing faculty that's taking place when people breathe fully and deeply through the nose, which is what Ujjayi is. Now, in regard to how that works over time or how it affects people, we think of it as a breathing practice that they do when they come in for their hour and a half. And through the consistency of breathing in and out through the nose and channeling the breath and taking deep breaths in and full deep breaths out, that they begin to relate that to everyday activity. And it just starts to become a habit as opposed to a particular practice that they need to pay attention to, so it begins to just happen naturally.
There's no contradiction whatsoever. Some people need the medication to have a base or a foundational sense of kind of support and balance, and then they can still get a sense of their Ayurvedic constitution and get to know themselves better, and use the lifestyle tips to reduce stress and reduce stressful situations, and open up to more things that are pleasurable and nurturing for them. So I think that they can work hand in hand. Ayurveda is just very nurturing and very, we use the word empowering, which I think is right on. So it's very nurturing and very empowering for anybody to use. So the way that I integrate Ayurveda in my practice is I have a polarity therapy practice, and polarity therapy is an energy medicine, and the foundation or the principle of polarity therapy come from Ayurveda, the 5 elements, and this view that we are a microcosm of the macrocosm, and that our highest potential is really kind of realizing that. And so I do the hands-on energy work here in my practice with person on the table, but I also give lifestyle, nutrition, herbal, pranayama, and meditation support so that people can really learn how to take care of themselves. And I just want to also say that I think is one of the most profound things about Ayurveda, that it gives people guidance and tools of how to take care of ourselves. So the first part is sort of getting to know ourselves through the window of the 5 elements and the 3 doshas. And then from there, learning how to take care of ourselves. really means the science of life, so the science of life and longevity. So it's really learning how to live a healthy, balanced lifestyle. And we all can use that. And you can use little bits of it. You don't have to like dive in and do everything.
Mm-hmm.
You can use, say you're just really attracted to the food choices and you do that. There can be some nice returning to balance. Or you're just attracted to the meditation and the pranayama. My role in part is to inspire people to take care of themselves in ways that can be really enjoyable and nurturing and fun and empowering.